You feel empty because you've betrayed yourself. Every time you hit snooze, every time you scroll instead of build, every time you bow to comfort, you kill the man you were born to be. The world doesn't hate you. It just doesn't notice you. And until you become a man worth remembering, it never will. Masculinity today is not misunderstood. It is deliberately dismantled. The modern world is not confused about what makes a man. It knows exactly what a real man is, and it's terrified of him. A strong man doesn't beg for approval. He doesn't ask for permission to be great. He doesn't apologize for his ambition, his strength, his presence. And because of that, they call him dangerous. Society will not reward your strength, it will punish, because strength exposes weakness. Leadership reveals cowardice. Discipline makes the undisciplined feel guilty. You are not hated because you're wrong. You are hated because you're right. And you remind them of everything they could have been, but refuse to become. And here's the brutal truth no one wants to say out loud. Being a man isn't supposed to be easy. You weren't born to relax. You were born to carry weight. Emotional weight, financial weight, physical weight, and spiritual weight. That burden is the fire that forges your character. You want a meaningful life? Then embrace the suffering. A man's life is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be war. Every single day you face resistance is a test from the universe asking one question. Are you worthy of power? Because power is not given. It is earned in sweat, scars, and solitude. You build it when you train while your body screams to rest. You build it when you work in silence while the world parties. You build it when you hold your frame in storms that would shatter weaker men. But you've been lied to. They told you that masculinity is toxic, that silence means repression, that toughness is trauma, that assertiveness is abuse. They sold you a version of manhood wrapped in fear and shame. And the worst part, most men bought it. They chose ease over growth, validation over victory, comfort over courage. And now they walk through life confused, medicated, addicted, desperate for direction, but too afraid to lead themselves. This is why modern men are depressed. Because you can't feel alive when your instincts are buried under shame. A man stripped of his masculinity is a lion with no roar. He survives, but he never dominates. He exists, but he never lives. So what you do, you rise, you rebuild, you fight. You don't wait for the world to hand you a throne. You carve it from the rock of your suffering. You accept that life is unfair and you use that as fuel. You stop looking for motivation and you start becoming it. You train not for aesthetics, but for armor. You read not to look smart, but to sharpen your blade. You speak not to please, but to project certainty. Because deep down you know this. The world respects the man who builds himself. Not the one who complains. Not the one who blames. But the one who endures, evolves, and executes no matter the pain. You're not weak because life hit you. You're weak if you stayed down. You're not broken because you cried. You're broken if you refuse to get back up. Every real man has felt hopeless. Every warrior has questioned himself. But a man doesn't let those moments define him. He uses them to forge a new standard. The pressure you feel, that's not punishment. That's your potential knocking, screaming, daring you to open the door. So open it. Face the darkness. Walk through the fire. You'll either emerge a king or you'll be buried as a coward. But at least you chose to fight. There's still hope for men, but it won't come from the world. It will come from within you. You reclaim your manhood the moment you stop waiting and start building. The moment you stop apologizing and start commanding. Masculinity is not about aggression for the sake of ego. It's about protecting what matters, enduring what's necessary, and standing tall even when you're the last one left. When everything collapses and your back's against the wall, the world will look around for a man to lead. And if you've done the work, if you've built the strength, the mind, the spirit, they'll find you. So let them call you harsh. Let them call you stubborn. Let them misunderstand your silence and mislabel your strength. You don't need their approval. You need results. And results only come when you accept that manhood is not a gift, it's a war you must wake up and win every single day. There was a time when I was just like you, confused, angry, full of energy, but no direction. I had no blueprint. No father showing me how to fight, how to lead, how to conquer. I wasn't born into some kingdom. I built the kingdom brick by brick with blood on my knuckles and a target on my back. There were nights I sat alone in silence, staring at the ceiling. asking myself why I felt this rage boiling inside of me. I wasn't weak, but I wasn't strong either. Not yet. I was a storm with no purpose. And the world doesn't care about storms. It only fears hurricanes that know where they're going. I remember walking home broke, freezing, teeth clenched, wind in my face, fists in my coat pockets, not because I was cold, but because I was angry at myself for not doing more. That's the moment manhood whispered to me. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And the whisper said, no one's coming to save you. You either become something or you rot like the rest. That moment wasn't dramatic. There was no music playing, just cold air, a tight jaw, and a choice. That's how manhood arrives. Not with celebration, but confrontation. It demands a sacrifice. It says, kill the boy, bury the excuses, burn the weakness. If you want the crown, earn the scars. I could have folded, I could have blamed the world, but a man doesn't ask for lighter burdens. He builds a stronger back. So I went to war with myself, not once, every day. And I still do. Because masculinity isn't a switch you flip, it's a fire you keep alive. Every rep I lifted when I was tired, every meal I skipped when I couldn't afford it, every hour I worked when sleep begged me to quit, that was the crucible. That was the transformation. I didn't build muscles to flex. I built them because the world respects mass. I didn't read books to look smart. I read because knowledge is a weapon. I didn't chase money for luxury. I chased it for freedom. A real man doesn't want wealth to show off. He wants it so no one can ever put a leash around his neck again. People think masculinity is about domination. It's not. It's about dominion. The quiet control over yourself and your environment. The power to create order from chaos. To walk into a room and not demand respect, but command it without saying a word. I've seen men twice my size crumble under pressure. Why? Because size means nothing if your mind is small. I've stared down killers, liars, cowards, and I never flinched. Not because I'm fearless, but because I face my own darkness. Once you conquer yourself, the world stops being a threat and starts becoming your playground. They talk about toxic masculinity. What's truly toxic is raising boys to be soft, obedient, and ashamed of their nature. That's why they're depressed. That's why they're addicted. That's why they lash out or withdraw, because they've been told to be less than what they are. A man stripped of his aggression becomes prey. A man denied discipline becomes lost. Masculinity isn't violent, it's protective. It isn't reckless, it's controlled fire. They fear it because it's raw, untamed, and ungovernable, and anything they can't control, they try to destroy. I had to die to be born. The old me, the soft me, the lazy me, he's buried. I don't mourn him, I celebrate his death, because he was the anchor dragging me down. And the moment I cut him loose, I rose. I built a new standard. I set my own code. And the universe started responding. Doors opened, respect followed. But not because I begged for it, because I became undeniable. That's masculinity. The relentless pursuit of higher ground. Not because you hate where you are, but because you know where you could be. And the difference between a boy and a man isn't age, it's accountability. A boy blames, a man builds. A boy runs, a man stands. A boy seeks comfort, a man creates legacy. You want to be respected? Then earn it. You want to be followed? Then lead yourself first. You want peace? Then prepare for war. You don't become a man by talking about it. You become a man when you're willing to bleed for your name, grind for your mission, and suffer for your evolution. Because the world doesn't give you value. You assign it to yourself. And here's what they'll never tell you. Even after you become strong, it never gets easier. The challenges don't stop. The pressure never ends. But that's the point. Masculinity is not a destination. It's a discipline. A way of life. The code you live by when no one's watching. When you wake up and train without motivation. When you say no to temptation. When you speak the truth even when your voice shakes. That's what makes you a man. Not your beard, your bank account, or your bravado. But the choices you make when no one claps. So when you ask yourself, what does it mean to be a man? Understand this. It means choosing the path of resistance. It means building when you want to rest. It means protecting when you want to run. It means rising when life pushes you down. Masculinity is now outdated. It's under attack because it's powerful, and the world fears powerful men. So be the man they can't ignore. Be the storm they can't silence. Be the one who proves that real men still exist. You don't have time That's the truth they hide from you. Every second you waste scrolling, doubting, hesitating, your enemies sharpen their swords. While you sleep in, some other man wakes up early, punches the clock, lifts iron, builds his empire, and takes the life you said you wanted. You think this is a game? Look around you. Weakness has infected everything. They hand out participation trophies and call that achievement. They tell men to be soft, to express every emotion like a child, to be passive, agreeable, and spineless, and then wonder why the world's crumbling. The reason you're losing is simple. You've been trained to lose. You think you're safe? You're not safe. You're one phone call away from disaster, one car accident from being paralyzed, one recession from losing your job, one betrayal from being alone. You think comfort is your reward, but it's your curse. Comfort is a slow death disguised as success. Men aren't built to be comfortable. We're forged in discomfort. Pressure isn't your enemy, it's your proof of life. The moment your life gets easy, you start dying inside. You're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to carry the weight. Men are born to carry burdens. If you run from that truth, you'll drown in mediocrity. Every man walking this earth has a clock ticking above his head, and most of them never hear it. But if you're reading this, you're one of the few who feel it. The heartbeat, the urgency, the hunger gnawing at your soul, telling you that this isn't enough. You weren't born to live like a ghost in your own life. You were born for war, for legacy, for power. Not the kind that's given, the kind that's taken. You were built to suffer, to endure, to dominate. Not because life is cruel, but because you're supposed to become indestructible. You sit there thinking you'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist. That's the trap. You put off the workout, the hustle, the sacrifice, thinking the world will wait for you. It won't. The world rewards the man who moves now, the man who acts under pressure, the man who says, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. That man wins. That man becomes king. That man leaves the rest behind to rot. And guess what? No one feels bad for the ones who quit. No one cries for the cowards. Life is a ruthless competition, and only the savage survive. You want success, but you fear the pain that comes with it. That's weakness talking. That's the voice of every average man who gave up when it got hard. Every scar you earn is a badge of honor. Every failure is a step forward. But if you keep avoiding the climb because you're scared to fall, you'll spend your life crawling. Crawling men don't get remembered. Warriors do. So you're scared of what? Rejection? Broke people laughing at your ambition? A girl leaving you because you chose discipline over dopamine? Let her go. Let them laugh. Let the world misunderstand you. That's the price of greatness. You know what should terrify you? Waking up at 50 and realizing you wasted your prime years chasing nothing. Knowing that your body is weaker, your mind is slower, your fire is gone, and all you have are stories of what you could have been. Regret is the most painful poison a man can taste. And once it settles in your soul, there's no antidote. So ask yourself right now, if I died tomorrow, would I be proud of who I am? If the answer is no, then what the hell are you waiting for? There's no redo, no reset, no checkpoint. Life only gives you one shot, and most men blow it chasing comfort, chasing distraction, chasing approval. You see other men rising and you tell yourself, I'll get there too. No, you won't, unless you wake up now. Because while you're dreaming, they're doing. While you're watching videos, they're building. While you're numbing yourself with food, porn, or parties, they're sharpening their weapons. And when the time comes to clash, you'll be left bleeding while they stand over you, unbothered, victorious, and ready for more. Masculinity is earned in silence and proven in battle. You either show up ready or you get destroyed. Do you know why they want you distracted? Because a focused man is dangerous. A man who trains, learns, and builds in silence becomes a storm no one can control. That's why they push weakness on you. That's why they celebrate emasculation, because they know a strong man, mentally, physically, spiritually, is the last barrier between freedom and tyranny. And if they can break you, they break the future. But if you rise, if you become what you were born to be, they lose everything. So be the man who resists. Be the man who doesn't fold. Be the one who's feared, not for his rage, but for his relentless discipline. You have two choices: become the wolf or be devoured by the pack. There is no middle ground, no safe zone, no participation medals. Masculinity isn't toxic weaknesses, and your time is running out. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to scroll past this and go back to sleep? Or are you going to stand the hell up, look your life in the eyes, and declare, I was built for more than this. I was born to be a man. You don't rise by chance. You rise by choice. Every inch of masculinity is earned in blood, sweat, and discipline. Nobody hands you manhood. It's carved into your soul by the life you survive. That's what they never told you. That this world doesn't owe you anything. That being a man means waking up every day to a battlefield with no medals, no applause, no comfort, just the brutal truth that nobody's coming to save you. You either become the savior of your own life or you sink with the rest of the forgotten. You want to be strong? Then earn it. Stop sitting around hoping motivation will land in your lap. Wake up and do what weak men won't. Train when you're tired. Work when you're uninspired. Show up when no one's watching. A man is judged by what he does in silence, not what he posts online. You can wear the mask, talk the talk, but when life punches you in the teeth, only your habits, your mindset, and your relentless grind will decide whether you get back up or stay down like the cowards you once swore you'd never become. Masculinity isn't anger, it's control. It's having the power to destroy and choosing restraint. It's walking into a room and commanding respect without saying a word. It's a steel spine that doesn't bend under pressure, the focused mind that doesn't break under stress. You want people to believe in you? Start acting like someone worth believing in. Let your results speak. Let your presence intimidate. Let your work ethic be so vicious that the world has no choice but to acknowledge your existence. Manhood is measured by responsibility, not ego. And responsibility isn't glamorous. It's heavy, it's lonely, it's brutal. You think being a man is about flexing wealth? That's easy. Being a man means staying calm when everything falls apart. It means sacrificing now so your future isn't built on lies. It means saying no when everyone else says yes. It means being the one who stands firm when the whole world collapses. Because if you can't lead yourself, you'll never lead anyone else. And if you can't suffer in silence, you don't deserve to speak in power. Look at your hands. What have they built? What legacy have you etched into time? What example have you left for your future son to follow? A man is remembered not by the words he says, but by the empire he leaves behind. That's the weight, that's the pressure. And it's beautiful, because only under pressure do diamonds form. Only in chaos does a true man rise. You can hate the pain, or you can learn to crave it. You can run from the storm, or you can become the thunder inside it. Weak men blame, strong men build. You don't get stronger by crying about your circumstances. You get stronger by becoming dangerous to them. You turn trauma into armor. You turn heartbreak into fuel. You turn every no you've ever heard into a reason to win. A real man turns every loss into leverage. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you start building an empire. And the longer you sit around overthinking, the further you drift from who you're meant to be. They want you broken, because a broken man is easy to control. They want you obedient, because obedience breeds weakness. You were born for war, not routine. You were built to conquer, not comply. So don't just chase goals, hunt them. Don't just want strength, bleed for it. Don't just dream, act like your life depends on it, because it does. The clock is ticking, and every second you hesitate, some other man is sharpening his edge, preparing to take what you won't fight. No man becomes a warrior in peace. You need the struggle, you need the weight, you need the rejection. Every scar you carry proves you didn't quit. Pain is the tax you pay for greatness. And if you're not willing to pay it, stay where you are. Average, forgettable, weak. But if there's even a flicker of fire inside you, even a whisper in your soul telling you that you were made for more, then now is the time to unleash it. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Because no one's going to hand you the crown. You have to rip it from the jaws of complacency. You're not here to fit in, you're here to lead. You're not here to seek comfort, you're here to dominate chaos. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be respected. Let them talk, let them mock, let them doubt, and then bury them with your success. The most masculine thing a man can do is refuse to quit. When life tries to break you, you stare back and say, you don't scare me. I've already fought worse in silence and won. This is your moment, your war, your life. No one's coming, no one cares, and that's your greatest weapon. Because the man who understands that no one is responsible for his success but him becomes unstoppable. So, stand up, adjust your crown, and get to work like your future depends on it. Because it does. Enough waiting, enough fantasizing, enough pretending like tomorrow is going to save you. It won't. The longer you sit still, the further you drift from the man you were supposed to be. You think you've got time? You don't. Every second you waste in comfort is a second your enemies sharpen their weapons. Every hour you spend procrastinating is an hour your competition uses to become untouchable. While you're scrolling, someone else is grinding. While you're dreaming, someone else is building. And when you finally wake up, you'll realize the world doesn't slow down for the lazy. It tramples them. You weren't born for ease. You weren't built for softness. Masculinity is forged in responsibility, sharpened by pressure, and tested in pain. And if you haven't felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, you haven't stepped into your role yet. Manhood begins when the boy dies and the warrior takes his place. There's no shortcut, no hack, no magic formula. You either become him or you fade into the sea of faceless men who lived and died without ever truly becoming anything. Time to decide. Right now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. What kind of man do you want to be? Because no one's going to hand it to you. No one's going to beg you to become great. You have to want it so bad that failure disgusts you, that mediocrity insults you, that weakness makes you sick. You have to wake up and go to war with your own excuses every single day. You have to lead yourself first before you're worthy of leading anyone else. There is no success without sacrifice. There is no glory without grind. Masculinity doesn't apologize for strength. It doesn't beg for validation. It doesn't bend when tested. The real man stands tallest when he's alone, silent, and bruised. Because he knows the storm doesn't break him, it reveals him. You don't need people to understand your path. You don't need permission to be disciplined. You don't need applause to be focused. You just need hunger, ruthless hunger, to be the man your bloodline never had, the protector your future family will count on, the leader your brothers can follow into fire without hesitation. And you know what separates the weak from the unstoppable? Action. The weak overthink, complain, blame, compare, spiral. The masculine act. They move through fear. They push through doubt. They operate without emotion when emotion becomes weakness. They don't care how they feel, they care what must be done. Discipline is what men do when motivation runs dry. And it always runs dry. That's when your DNA gets tested. That's when you find out whether you were built to rule or built to rot. So ask yourself this and answer with brutal honesty. Are you the man who conquers or the man who watches others conquer? Are you the hammer or the nail? Because the world only respects power, not titles, not wishes, not good intentions, power. And real power isn't loud, it's earned. Earned by being the first to rise and the last to sleep. Earned by sacrificing distraction for duty. Earned by choosing pain over pleasure, growth over comfort, truth over popularity. You don't get to complain about the life you tolerate. You don't get to speak like a lion if you live like a sheep. The greatest lie you've ever been sold is that being average is enough. It's not. Being average is betrayal. It's betrayal to your name, your lineage, your future. You think you're tired now. You'll know real pain when you're 80, looking back, realizing you did nothing with the fire God gave you, that you let softness steal your legacy, that you handed your potential over to doubt and fear like it was theirs to own. But you still have time. Not much, but enough. Enough to become everything you were born to be if you stop lying to yourself. Enough to outwork everyone who doubted you. Enough to turn your weakness into a weapon. Enough to become a man who speaks with authority because his actions echo louder than his words ever could. You become undeniable the day you stop negotiating with your lesser self. That's when masculinity becomes instinct, not effort. Or discipline becomes default, not decision. So here it is, the moment, the final chance, the real test. You either rise now or rot forever. You either become disciplined or become forgotten. You either chase masculinity with everything you've got or you bow to the softness that's killed empires. Stand up, look in the mirror, and speak to the man you were always supposed to be. Tell him, I'm coming for you, and then go get him. Through fire, through failure, through fear, through fatigue, you do not stop until the man you dream of shakes your hand and says, you made it. Because that's what being a man is. Choosing the path no one sees, suffering in silence, building without recognition, and still showing up like a king. Masculinity isn't dead, it's waiting for you to prove you're worthy of it.